You see, while everybody is still hot and bothered about the all-new, brand-new Hyundai Santa Fe, Kia has a weird, awkward cousin that might just be the best deal inside of the used car market. This is the Kia Sorento. So yes, the new Hyundai Santa Fe is here, and it's bold, it's brutish, it's squared off, it's muscular, it's all of those things, and it's also affordable. But I think a vehicle that's been overlooked the last few years, especially because of its bigger brother, the Kia Telluride, is this right here. You see, this is a 2021 with 21,000 miles, and it's priced just under $28,000 on my used lot. And that is an incredible deal, especially for a guy like me who just spent $42,000 on an employee price on a brand new Toyota Highlander. So now I'm asking myself, just like you should be asking yourself, should I be driving a Kia Sorento? Let's talk about it. Now, just to be clear, I'm not saying you should go out and sell your current vehicle and go buy one of these cars because it's that good of a deal. What I am saying is that if you're in the market for a car, whether you just totaled yours out or maybe yours is getting old or long in the tooth, this could be a great deal. You see, because this car right here has a turbocharged 4-cylinder motor. It hauls up to 6 people. And like I said in the intro, it only costs this one $28,000 on the used market. Even a new one of these doesn't even push above 45 when it's fully loaded with every feature in the world. This one here is interesting because it's not the highest trim level. This is a kind of middle trim level vehicle, but it still has a lot of the luxury touches. For example, it's got the simulated leather seats on the interior. It's got heated seats in the front seats. It's got captain's chairs in the second row. It's also got a large panoramic sunroof. And so for $28,000, this vehicle offers a ton of value. But the question is it any good? So the word good is extremely relative to your position, of course, what you think good is, and naturally we have to ask the question, what is this car meant to do? You see, this is a family utility vehicle. It's designed to haul people and stuff and get you where you need to go, and this one particularly is the affordable option. You see, if you really wanted to spend a lot of money, you could go get a Kia Telluride with all of the features and spend 50 grand, but you're not, because you're looking at this car. You see, you're looking for a good value, and that is what is good in this car, and I think this car does a good job. Now we'll start back here in the cargo area because this is probably the most important part of any small utility family vehicle. And this one, I can honestly say, is a little bit smaller than what you've come to expect, especially if you're used to, like myself, a Toyota Highlander or something of that size range. It is definitely shorter. It's shorter by about 10 inches. And it's definitely thinner as far as width goes by about 4 inches. And then this one does have a lift-up area like most of these SUVs, and it is quite large, larger than most SUVs with storage down here. There is, of course, your jack and tools over here. And there are a decent amount of amenities. For example, the third row does have USB. It does have cup holders. These seats flip up manually, pretty easily actually. Unfortunately, our second row seats are too far reclined back for me to actually lift them up right now. But we'll climb back in the third row in a minute and see exactly how comfortable it is. But there is a 12-volt back here, and there's also some tie-downs back here. There is a big circle here for a subwoofer that this one is not optioned with. But it is nice to see, even on this lower trim level, a power lift gate. Now, when we shut that lift gate, we see some of the cool Kia styling cues. Now, this one is a 2021, so we do have the older Kia logo right here in the middle, but we've got Sorento spelled out along the bottom, and then there is an EX turbo gas direct injection logo right here, and then these large LED tail lamps. Now you notice they kind of give us like a fake almost exhaust look here. There's no actual exhaust tips exposed. They're underneath the car. And then of course there is actually parking sensors on this one to make sure you don't back into anything. And something I like, especially when you're comparing it to something like, for example, my personal Toyota Highlander, is that there's no wiper right here in the middle. They actually tucked it up underneath. So if you go through a car wash or whatever, there's no worries about it getting taken off. However, it is more difficult to change the wiper blade in this style. So let's go back into that third row and see exactly how comfortable it is right now. Before we actually get in the third row, I wanted to show you exactly how easy it is to get back there. So of course you open the door, and Kia does offer a decently opening door. Most SUVs you want to see about a 90-degree opening so that you can get in and get a car seat in and whatever else you need to do. But they do offer as well as a nice push button right up here on the corner of the seat, and you can see it tilts and slides. You can't have a car seat in there while it does that, so that is a little bit of a downside, but this does have the captain's chair, so if you really had a small child getting in the back, they could just go right up the middle. And as far as climbing in, there's a step right here. It is a little bit of a short opening, and these seats are fairly close to the floor, but now I am actually in the third row. So now I'm actually in the third row of the Kia Sorento, and I will admit this is a lot tighter than most of these vehicles in this size range. The ability to get in is a lot lower, mainly just because of how low everything is. This vehicle doesn't have a very high ceiling. And then also when you actually get back here, the space is not very roomy. These seats are nice and wide, and they actually do have latch points, so you could actually put car seats back here if you had some to put back here. And there are a decent number of amenities on paper. For example, we've got USB ports and cup holders. We've also got a 12-volt and some buttons to fold the second row seats if we needed to. But there's no air vents. The windows aren't very big. The ceiling height, I mean, not that I'm crazy tall, but it would be a lot nicer if there were more openings in this vehicle just to make it that much more roomy. So I will say, if you're going to be using the third row an absolute ton, especially with larger people, you should look at something a little bit bigger. But if you're just going to use it in a quick pinch and you're looking for, once again, that affordable SUV that you can tote some people around with, this is definitely still a good option. So now here we are in the second row seats of the Kia Sorento, and once again, these are the captain's chairs. There is a decent pass-through. There's actually these little storage pocket nets that are here. We do have air vents right here in the middle, as well as a 12-volt and a singular USB port, but there's also USB ports on the back of the seats, so definitely a ton of connectivity. There's also seat back pockets on both of the seats. There's these little cup holders. I call them the toddler cup holders when they're in the F-150, but they're right here located on the door, which is nice. These windows, of course, they do, right now they're locked, but if they do roll all the way down, which is nice to see. There's a nice big grab handle, a little bit of a storage cubby, however, it's open here, so stuff could definitely slide out. And then, of course, a water bottle holder down here below. And one of the things I've done the wide angle for is so that you can see the large panoramic sunroof. And it does, of course, have a power shade, so you can close it out if you don't like all the light. But it definitely makes these second row seats and this interior overall feel a lot more roomy, having that huge glass roof. And as far as these second row chairs go, they recline. They do have an armrest on them. They also slide if you'd like. And of course, they have latch points on them as well. So if you're counting, that's 4 latch points in here for car seats. And I don't know if you're aware, but there are a lot of vehicles that do not have latch points in the third row, my personal Toyota Highlander being one of them. And so if you had 3, maybe even 4 car seats, even the small ones, even little booster seats, you wouldn't be able to use those in a Highlander, but you can use them in this $28,000 Kia Sorento. And now that we actually have these third row seats up, I did want to show you that the cargo space behind the third row is not very large. It's quite lackluster. However, if you needed to throw a couple bags of groceries or a couple gallons of milk back here, you could definitely do it. But it would be very difficult to go on a long trip with 6 people in this vehicle. You would definitely need to use the roof rack or a tow hitch or some sort of rear rack, or maybe even a whole nother vehicle for all the stuff that you need to bring with you. But like I said, keep in mind, this is a $28,000 value option for a 3-row SUV. So now here we are in the front seats of the Kia Sorento, and it's actually quite a comfortable space. I do have to give Kia props over the last few years. They've done a very good job designing their interiors, making them feel not only more premium, but also just overall build quality being a lot better. Now, like I said, this is a 2021. It's priced at $28,000. It's a 3-row SUV, and as I mentioned in the intro, we've got leather, we've got heated seats, we've got that big pano sunroof, but we've also got some safety features in here that are surprising to see at the price point. For example, adaptive cruise, as well as lane centering technology, and then, of course, interesting note over here, when we use the window lockout features, it also child locks the doors. So I can't necessarily think of a particular instance where you would want to lock the windows but not the child locks, but it is good to note that it's only one button and it does both at the same time, and it also does it to both doors. So if you have some adults back there, maybe adult on one side, kid on the other, that could be a little annoying because then you have to press it every time you want to let somebody out, but not that big of a deal. But going back to the interior quality, everything in here feels very premium. The window switches feel premium. The steering wheel is leather wrapped. It feels fairly premium and nice and solid. All of the stocks coming off feel nice and premium. They've got multiple different textures and colors on them. For example, we've got a gloss black mixed with a regular plastic black. We've got this wood trim along the dash and behind the gauges here. We've got these cool vents that have both a downward facing vent and an upward facing vent, so you can really dial in exactly where the heat or AC is going. And your heated seat controls are very, very tactile, very, very large, and they don't feel cheap at all. And down here we do have a wireless charger as well as 3 USB ports. We've also got our shifter. This does have an 8-speed automatic. Kia Hyundai has been using a dual clutch transmission in some of their vehicles. Thankfully, this particular model doesn't have it. However, it is something that you should look out for. If you're looking at one of these vehicles, just make sure that it doesn't have the dual clutch. Not that the dual clutch in and of itself is a bad transmission. It just requires more maintenance and tends to be a little less reliable than the traditional torque-converted 8-speed automatic. Behind the shifter for that automatic, we do have our drive modes as well as a button for our auto start-stop. This vehicle is equipped with auto brake hold as well as downhill assist control, which is pretty impressive to see on not even an off-road trim or package vehicle. And then it does also have parking camera button right here. Now, it's not a 360 cam, it just pulls up the backup cam, but it's nice to know that anytime you want, you can push it and pull it up. And then, of course, the button to turn off those rear parking sensors. Now, there's 2 cup holders and a little coin sorter storage thing here, as well as the center armrest with its leather stitching. Lifting it up, we do have a little shelf in here that comes out, and there's a decent amount of storage in this center console. And then when we look up at our mirror, it is a auto-dimming mirror. We got it. We have an auto-dimming mirror with our HomeLink garage door opener underneath. No sunglass holder in here. These do come down. They do have a little light. Now, the light is actually up here in its little switch. Very interesting to see it being different than a lot of other brands. But when you turn this on, there you go. It turns off when you close it, so you can't leave it on. But this does come out. It does slide, so you've got plenty of protection from the sun. And then, of course, you've got a singular switch where you control both the shade and the glass in one single switch. Pretty nice to see. Now, this vehicle is equipped with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is very nice to see in an affordable SUV. But we've also got tons of storage when you look at the doors, when you look at the center console, when you look at the glove box. It is a lockable glove box, and we do still have our original books as well as our original window sticker. And just for reference, when you're looking at this from maybe a depreciation or maybe even a how good of a deal you're getting, in 2021, this vehicle had a brand new MSRP of $38,530. So this vehicle is about a $10,000 savings. You're buying a vehicle that's now three years old because it's 2024 with 21,200 miles. Not overall a bad deal. Its final assembly point was West Point, Georgia, which is pretty good. And it's rated for 29 highway, 22 city. This vehicle is equipped with the 2.5-liter turbo. It makes 311 pound-feet of torque. And yes, this one is equipped with the dual clutch automatic. My apologies. I was thinking that because this was a lower trim level that it didn't have the package, but this one adds the S package, which adds that motor and transmission. But it does have originally a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain and then a 5-year, 60 bumper-to-bumper. So Kia does up the warranty from what most manufacturers do. We've talked a lot about the powertrain on the inside. Let's actually go under the hood and talk about it a little more. So now we're underneath the hood of this Kia Sorento, and this is the 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. And it's actually very similar to what's in my wife's Toyota Highlander. She has a 2.4-liter turbocharged with a regular torque-converted 8-speed automatic. This one is the dual clutch. Kia here calls it Smart Stream G, which you can read right off of the top of the engine cover. And there's a bunch of different charge pipes running around. And actually, this is the same powertrain that powers the Hyundai Santa Cruz and many other Kia Hyundai products. And from a maintenance perspective, it's very simple. You've got your coolant, you've got your washer fluid, you've got your oil, you've got your air box, you got your battery, and you got your fuses. And there's really not a whole lot else. I mean, brake fluid and coolant and oil are really the only fluids you have to worry about because you have an electronic power steering rack, and like I said, maintenance overall, very simple ordeal. I would suggest, because this is a turbocharged engine and those turbos do use coolant and oil, I would suggest getting a coolant flush probably every 40 or 50,000 miles, and also making sure that you do your oil changes in a good interval and make sure you're using top-notch oil when you get your oil changed. Don't cheap out, don't get the non-full synthetic that they recommend. Definitely do all your maintenance as you're supposed to, and hopefully you should have no problems with this vehicle. Well, guys, for $28,000, what do you think? This is a pretty much like new vehicle. It's only 3 years old. It's only got 21,000 miles. It's got tons of life left in it. Is it a good deal, and would you spend the money on it? Let me know down in the comments. I'm interested to hear from you guys. I'm interested to know if you guys think that this is a good deal, just like I do, because quite frankly, I think for 28 grand, there's not a whole lot of 3-row SUVs that you can buy that are still this new with this many features. And I'm excited to see where the car market's headed. You see, because this is a great example of what the car market used to be pre-pandemic, pre-COVID, when you could go out and get a used car for $10,000 off because it was a year or two old. And we're finally getting back to those normal times. And so it's exciting that you can actually go get a good deal. It used to be you had to pay over MSRP to get a vehicle like this. It used to be you had to pay at least MSRP to get one that was like new. But now we're finally getting back to a time where you can get crazy deals, and this is a prime example of that. If you guys have enjoyed the video, make sure to like down below. If you guys are enjoying my channel, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you get notified when I come out with a new video. And if you're looking for a great deal like this vehicle, my name is Austin the Car Guy, and I am here at Terrebonne Ford. I can sell you this vehicle. Just check out my information down in the description. And of course, as always, guys, we love you very much. Thank you for watching, and have an amazing day. Now, for those of you that have stayed this long, you already know what time it is. It is Late Video Lighting Nerds. This is our candid blooper style where we go around and check out the low beams, high beams, fog lights, tail lights, everything lighting on the vehicle. So let's do that. Starting it up, foot on the brake, press the start button, turn our headlights on. All right. So this should be headlights and fog lights. I do like to see reflector LED headlights along with that nice daytime running light, along with fog lights down below. Very nice. Let's check out the taillights real quick. I actually do like the taillights on here because they're vertical taillights, which we don't really see a whole lot. And it's actually an incandescent bulb. They're not LEDs. They're kind of a faux LED, trying to make you think they're LED because of the diffuser in there. Then we got our high beams. Let's go see what those look like. Oh yeah, those are some good looking high beams right there. Very bright. And of course our fog lights have turned off because that is federally required. Well guys, thanks for watching. We appreciate you and have a great day.